Alrighty, hello there. My name is James, and we're gonna go ahead and divide some polynomials and divide them specifically by x, right? This little thingamabobber over here. And how do we even go about this, right? Well, actually, let's read what the question is asking us, right? Divide the polynomials. Your answer should be a polynomial. Wow, I wonder what this is, right? Okay, well, let's go ahead. Essentially, another way to look at this is we're just simplifying this, okay? I mean, this kind of looks alright. I mean, during your math career, you'll see a bunch of stuff like this, but it's not just in its simplest form, okay? So let's go ahead and do that, shall we? So one trick we can do, and I think this is probably the only trick we have up our sleeve, is we're going to divide each term in the numerator by the denominator, right? The denominator. Did I say that right? Denominator? Yeah, okay. Just making sure. So let's go ahead and do that, right? So watch this little trick up my sleeve. So we're going to write this first term right here, which is what? X squared. Let's go ahead and write over here, x squared. Okay? And now it has to be divided by something, right? Because, well, we're dividing this whole thing by x. So we're going to write divided by x. Now the trick here is that we're going to split it up. Okay? Like I said before, we're going to divide each term, right? So how many terms do we have here? We have 2 terms, right? And so let's just pretend this x doesn't exist. If we divide each term by the same denominator, then we can definitely go about this and make our life easier, right? So what's going to be next? Well, we're going to look at our numerator, and you're going to see our operator right here, right? Which is a plus sign. So meaning this is going to be a plus. And then 2x over x, right? Sweet. Well, how can we simplify this even more? I mean, this looks, in fact, even more complicated than what we had up here, right? Well, what we can do is we know what x times x is, right? That's x squared. So maybe, I'll write it in a way that's perhaps even easier to understand, right? So we have x times x over x plus 2x over x. Okay? Now we can just cross it out, right? Because we're multiplying the numerator and the denominator by the same thing. So we can literally just wha-bam. Doesn't exist anymore, and we just get x for this first term, right? Now what do we get for the second term? Well, we have 2x over x. So same thing. It's the same thing on the numerator and the denominator. So we can just wha-bam, and all that's left is 2. So x plus 2. So what is the answer? It's going to be x plus 2. Not too shabby at all. Alrighty. This color seems really boring. I'm going to change this color, okay? I really don't like it, unfortunately. What are we going to do? Let's make it blue. Bro, blue is so much better. Is this blue? Okay. Well, we'll save that for the next problem, okay? Alrighty, here is our next problem, okay? What do we have? We have x cubed minus 5x squared over x. Okay? And the question is the same. Okay? We're dividing polynomials. And let's go ahead and do that, right? So what was the trick that we used last time, right? We're going to divide each term in the numerator, right? So x cubed and negative 5x squared. And we're going to divide it by our denominator. Okay? So not too bad. Let's go ahead and try it again, right? So we're gonna first write our numerator, the first term, and divide it by what? Our denominator. Okay. And is this what is our operator that's gonna be over here? Well, if you look at our numerator, we have a minus sign. So it's gonna be a minus. Okay? Now let's look at our next term, which is a 5x squared, right? Write it down. And what are we dividing by? The same, right? So when you divide polynomials, right, the denominator should be the same for each term, right? Just like you see here. So not bad at all. we're going to write equal and see what we have going on. What is x cubed, right? Another way to write x cubed is just 3x's over x minus, and what's another way of writing 5x squared? 5x times x over ax. Okay, so now let's do our little crossing out, right? So we can cross out these two x's and these two x's. And that should make our life a little better, right? So we have x times x minus 5x. Now, unfortunately, this is not a really professional way to write it, right? Because this can be simplified even more, right? So how are we going to write it? X squared, right? Minus what? 5x. And believe it or not, that is our answer. X squared minus 5x. Not bad at all. Alrighty, let's go on to the next problem. Alrighty. Divide the polynomials, right? Oh, I gotta click on Z layer. Okay, so we have x to the 5th, right? I don't even know the name of that. I know there's x squared, x cubed, x quadrupled. I don't know about the 5th power. That's pretty crazy. That's like the 5th dimension. Nobody knows about that. Okay, so let's go ahead and do it all over again, right? So we have x to the 5th. So that's at least how I like to do, right? I like to look at this first term right here and then divide that by x, and then go to the next term divided by x, and so on and so forth until we have all terms divided by our denominator. Okay, so x to the 5th divided by x. And now what's going to be over here? Well, if you look at our operator, we have a minus and then we have a plus, right? So first it's going to be a minus, and we have a 3x squared over x. Now at this point you should be able to do it in your head. I mean, because all we're really doing is essentially a subtraction, right? So what's x to the 5th divided by x? Well, you can think about it as 5 minus 1, which is 4, right? It's going to be x to the 4th. Hopefully I don't need to draw out all the x's. Should be pretty self-explanatory, right? So 3x squared, so x squared divided by x. Or another way to look at it is 2 minus 1, and that's just 1. So it's going to be 3x. Good. Now what else do we have? We have a plus 2x divided by x, which is just 2. And that is our answer. Let's go ahead and write it in here. And that is our answer. Not too bad at all. Let's go ahead and do another problem. Alright. And let's see what we have going on over here. Okay, we got something similar. Okay. So we have x to the 4th plus 5x cubed plus 3x squared, all divided by x. Okay, not too bad at all. So we're going to write down the first term in the numerator and divide it by the denominator. Then you're going to look, so one way, at least how I like to look at terms, let's circle them, right? So it'll be easier to understand. So this is one term. Believe it or not, this is another term, right? And I include the operator because it helps us tell if it's negative or not, right? Probably should have done this in the first problem, but you know, that's how it goes. So 3 terms, right? Hopefully, maybe a little bit better explained. And technically, there is an imaginary plus sign here, but just when we write it, we just usually don't do that, right? So 3 terms, and let's just divide each one by this term over here, right? So we got 5x cubed divided by ax, and what else we got? 3x squared over x. Okay, and what does that equal? Well, 4 minus 1, that is 3. So we have x cubed plus 5x cubed minus 1, or divide by x, right? There's a few ways to look at it, but it's going to be 5x squared. Okay, and what else we got? Plus 3x. Okay, because when you have two x's and you take away an x, there's only one x left, right? So that's why it's gonna be 3x. Let's go ahead and write it in our little box over here, right? Alrighty. And looks like we are done. So not too bad at all, huh? I hope this video was helpful. Let me know in the comments below if there's anything that can be improved upon. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.